Hi there, welcome to Kneppy Invest and welcome to Monday, the 8th of December, 2025. Time is currently 2:47 p.m. So about 1 hour and 23 minutes left of trading today on another fairly quiet day on the ASX. We'll talk about that when we go through the ASX today and look at the best performing sectors, indices, companies. Then after that, we'll go through the top 5 stocks of the day. Another quiet day when it comes to announcements. So no really big company released anything significant, but there is one company whose share price is up over 100% on a fairly good announcement. So we'll talk about that company. Pretty obvious stock of the day. And to be honest with the other 4 companies in the top 5 have or are interesting companies in themselves. So a nice group of 5 companies in the top 5. And then when we get to the chart of the day, it's charts of the day. It's inspired, these 3 companies, inspired by your comments. So we'll have a look at your 2 comments that inspired me to have these 3 companies as the co-chart of the day. Okay, so let's move into looking at the ASX today. Another fairly quiet day on the market and down a little bit. Is this a surprise? I thought we did have a good lead-in from Wall Street on Friday. And when I say a good lead-in, NASDAQ was up 0.43%, Dow Jones up 0.22%. So I thought there was a chance we might have been in the green today. However, TSX, the Canadian index, was down 0.53%. So I thought maybe we might see a little bit of weakness in the market just because of the Canadians. There is a bit of overlap between us and them, but their indices is much stronger than, like the TSX is much stronger than our indices at this point in time. But there's other things that could be leading us down today, including American futures. So if American futures are going down, that could be and have a negative effect on us. Also, Asian markets. I did see in trading economics, Japan at third quarter GDP shrinks more than initially anticipated. Has that led to a bit of weakness in Japan? China stocks gain on tech boost. Shanghai Composite rose 0.5%. Anything else here? No, not really. Japan nominal wages rise more than expected. So let's just have a look at how the Nikkei and Hang Seng have gone. So Nikkei is actually up 0.07%, and Hang Seng's actually down. So Hang Seng's actually down, and the European markets aren't open just yet. So just a little bit of weakness in our market today. Not a lot. It's not the sort of day you're going to run out and panic, like run out on the street naked and panicking, that sort of thing. But we are at an important level. And that's around about 8 or just above 8,600. And it is struggling to get above that level. And we're seeing that struggle today. It's a real struggle, a real struggle. Okay, so let's go back to the ASX today. A bad day for resources, down 0.81%, and tech is relatively flat after being down for most of the day. Best performing sectors today, in fact, you can see tech has been all over the place, oscillating up and below the 0% change line. Best performing sector today has been telecommunications, up to 1.32%. I'm wondering if that's because of Telstra. Telstra is by far the biggest company within that particular sector, and if it's up 2%, they've probably had a pretty good day, which they have. So let's have a look. Telstra is up. I forget REA Group's in that sector as well, but Telstra and REA Group have had a pretty good day, and that is why. Not only that, Car Group is up as well. Tours is up. So across the board, until we get to EVT, a pretty good day in the communication services companies. Not sure if I would include quite a few of these companies in this particular sector. In fact, I'd say REA Group, Car Group, SEEK belong in another sector, not this sector. Maybe that's just me. Anyway, so a pretty good day for telecommunications, real estate up a little bit, and all the other sectors down, including materials, utilities, both down by more than 0.8%. What else do we have here? Gold's had a bad day, down 1.69%, bit of weakness there. And ASX 20 is down 0.19%. So it's almost the market. So ASX 20 or it's ASX 200, ASX 300, ASX 100, all down by similar amounts. So not much movement among many of these sort of companies. Let's have a look at the ASX 20. I am assuming 8 companies up, 12 down. Just a wild get. 7 up, 13 down. 7 companies up today. Telstra, we already know that. CSL, Goodman Group, understandable because real estate was up. Macquarie Group, Woodside, CBA, Westpac, and the worst performing companies, Northern Star, not a surprise there. Sigma, Rio Tinto, NAB, and ANZ. In fact, we had 2 banks up a fair bit and 2 banks down a fair bit. And yeah, Although, would you say being up 0.0% and 0.05% up significantly? No. So probably best way to say that, or better way to say that, is two banks relatively flat and big banks down a fair bit. Okay, let's turn our attention to, I do like to have a look at this latest on market index. Buy, hold, sell after a crazy 2025. What's in store for 2026? Who knows? No one knows. You're just guessing. Everyone's just guessing. You can have a good guess or your best guess, but no one knows what's going to happen next year. I can almost guarantee you this time last year, no one knew what was going to happen this year. Anyway, let's have a look at the best and worst performing companies on the ASX today. Look at the best gainers first. And Bass Oil, best performing company by percentage change, up 123.53%. And that is a stock of the day. A pretty good announcement for a really small company getting in bed, not literal bed, with a major company. Other than that, you can see fairly low turnover for many of these other companies. Epiminder, which is a recent listing, up 18.16%. I actually did have a look at Epiminder, and it looks like one of their, in fact, I'll show you right now, one of their insiders is buying some shares. In fact, Klupax, I don't know who he is, Robert Klupax has bought 10,000 shares twice in the past week. So twice in the past week, maybe that has led to a bit of a rally in the share price today. However, they just listed, so I don't want to spend too much time on this. Share price has gone down to $1 and has bounced. So it's bounced off $1. There you go. $1 again is a nice support level. Anything else here? And maybe that's why the turnover is pretty big, because maybe he's bought another, or she's bought another 10,000 shares, which wouldn't be that much, to be honest. It would be a very small slither of 350. I should have looked at this. Market cap of that company is 208 million. So that does tell me maybe they do have a bit of revenue, maybe profitability. I don't know. But otherwise, look at all the low turnovers. So most of these companies fairly up on fairly low turnover. Liontown, another pretty good day for that lithium company. I did have a look at a few other lithium companies, and they haven't really performed as well. So it's really been Liontown that's done well. Liontown, I think Pilbara's had an okay day today. 6.32. What else is there? Lake Resources? No. In fact, it's down. What about Core Lithium? Up a little bit. And what's the other one? There was is it GLN? It's up a little bit. So a lot of nice vibes within lithium. It looks like Liontown has been the beneficiary of that today. Okay, wait there. Anything else? Any other companies I want to discuss here? No. Let's have a look at top gainers by market cap. Oh, there's Pilbara, Liontown, Korea. Artrya is in my top 5. I'll talk about that company. Anything else here? No. Nope. Oh, another recent listing, 6K Additive. In fact, recent listings have done fairly well. We had Epiminder, 6K Additive, and what was the other company that recently listed? Saluda, and I'm just guessing through my memory, SLD, share price up 0.39%. Has been quite volatile today. Share price opened at $1.33, went up to $1.50, and back down to $1.24. So highly volatile today for Saluda. But yeah, that listed at the end of last week on Friday. But anyway, otherwise, pretty good day for recent listings, but nothing else really to talk about. Imugene, up 6.25%. I will discuss that company in the top 5. Okay, nothing really to discuss right there. Let's have a look at the top losers. Again, Sunrise did not release anything. But this one, I mentioned this company, or someone asked me about this company I think I mentioned this company in the answer reply video. Chart has looked really good last year. And then I thought, oh, maybe they released something negative, but they didn't. And you can just see what's been happening. This company is highly volatile. This could be an opportunity to maybe buy in on this little dip. But this company has seen significant drops in one-day drops, like 17.23% on the 8th of October, 20.24% on the 18th of September, and that wasn't the end of the uptrend. I think the only reason we've seen these big drops is because the share price has rallied significantly just before the drop. So this could be an opportunity, but it might take a little bit of time before you see the share price get back up. And if you have a look at the volume, some really nice volume for this company. Anyway, so Sunrise is actually only down because of profit taking, we'll call it. Nova Minerals. Oh, I did have a look at this one, but I don't remember if I saw anything. There was quite a few couple raisings today. Nova Minerals. Oh, that's right. They released an invitation to attend Nova Investor webinars, 38 pages. And I'm wondering if there was something within this. This particular webinar is on Wednesday, and they did release a nice little presentation alongside it, developing a tier 1 gold asset and securing US domestic antimony supply. So I'm wondering if this is the market didn't like what was in this presentation. Then I had a look at the chart. I remember now exactly what happened. I had a look at the chart and went, oh, this is sort of similar to Sunrise. A lot of volatility in this one. And you can see the share price rise or drop 20% in one day. In fact, if you go to the trade history, you can see that happen quite often. Rises and drops of above or below 10% in one day, quite a few days. In fact, you can see here consecutive days. Back in October, down 21%, down 24%. After share price rose 82% on the 15th of October. So a lot of volatility in this commodity. But overall, by the way, share price, when it started rallying, was about 60 cents. So share price hasn't got up all that much since then. Share price has been as high as it looks like, about $1.71. So we go back to the chart. Oh yeah, you can see it there on the 15th of October. Massive and really quick rise, and then the share price plunged all the way back to 25-day moving average. And it seems like that particular moving average has been acting as a nice little support level for Nova Minerals, and it's there again. It's there again. Buy some Nova Minerals. I'm just writing it down, which I sometimes do. But neither of these companies released anything. Although Nova did release that presentation, but I doubt the market's reacting off that. Cobalt Blue, I'm pretty sure they did a couple raising. There was another company that did a couple raising. I'm trying to remember. Coca-Cola share price rallied a lot last week. And again, I think this is just a bit of profit taking. Let's have a look at this chart. Yep, bit of profit taking. Share prices plunged. This could be a good time to get in if you can see really light volume today compared to what we've seen in the last few days. That's a good sign. So if the selling stops, this could be a good little, nice little trade. What else? So Cobalt Bullet released, they did a couple raising. What else did a couple raising? Oh, and in silver, down 7.72%. They did a couple raising as well. So let's move on to top list by market cap. Silex, uranium. Race Oncology. Nova Minerals and Andy, we've already talked about those. Worker, chart looks okay. Havilah Resources, which is copper, down 5.98. Or is that, wait there, is that copper? I forget now. I talked about it the other day and I already forgotten. But there's nothing really else to discuss here. Okay, so let's turn our attention to the top 5 stocks of the day. And we're going to start off with a company, which is a relatively recent listing. It has a ticker code NH3, and the name of the company is NH3 Clean Energy. Who knows what NH3 is? Who knows? I actually did have to think about this for a long time, going, NH3, and it is ammonia. So ammonia, clean energy, share price up 4.4%. Was up quite a bit more than this. In fact, the share price was up almost 20%. Yeah, it was up about 20% at the high today. They did release something in regards to an MOU with a Tuchu Corporation for WAH2 project. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of MOUs. Well, that's probably the wrong way to say it. I don't go gaga over MOUs, Memorandum of Understanding. I've seen too many of these Memorandum of Understandings just go pear-shaped. Well, maybe not pear-shaped, but nothing comes of them. So I don't really pay that much attention. But it's a company I've never really looked at before. And I just saw the T code and went, what is NH3 again? And it's ammonia. So what is this company trying to do? So this MO outlines collaboration over the next 2 years intended to support the development of clean ammonia bunkering operations in the Pilbara region of Western Australia by 2030 and clean ammonia supply for bunkering operations in the Asia-Pacific region developed by Ituchu. I did have to Google, what the hell does bunkering mean? What is clean ammonia bunkering? Is this like bunkers in war or something like that? And I did Google it, and I was a little bit surprised by what it is. Let's have a look. Clean ammonia bunkering is a process of refueling ships with ammonia, promising zero-carbon marine fuel to reduce shipping emissions. That's it, refueling ships. Not sure why they call it a bunkering, but that's what it is. And there's also Pilbara Clean Fuel Bunkering Hub. There is a lot I don't know. A lot I don't know about. Anyway, so that's why this company is up a little bit today on this particular deal. And anyway, and then I went to have a look at the chart and went, ooh, not a bad looking chart either. Not a bad looking chart for NH3 Clean Energy. What is the markup of this company? I actually would be completely guessing. I'm going to say 100 million, 66.56 million. So it's actually, I'm not that far off. Let's have a look at the chart. The chart actually looks really nice. So they listed back in late 2024. Share price did nothing for a while, and we've seen a couple of little runs in the share price, and then share price goes sideways or back a little bit, and then a really big volume in October. Look at that massive volume coming in, and that's on the share price rising. As the share price has pulled back, we've seen that volume dip a little bit. Now today, it probably signifies it wasn't that powerful of an announcement because we haven't really seen massive volume coming in, and the share price has actually slipped a little bit. It's gone from about 11 cents at the high down below 10 cents, which shows me there is a bit of selling coming in. So the enthusiasm of the sellers is a little bit more strong than the enthusiasm of the buyers, telling me the announcement is not that strong. Plus those those a little bit underwater because they might have bought shares in this company at 13, 14 cents. Those a little bit underwater have seen this opportunity as a way to get out of this dog stock. And the reason they say dog stock or think dog stock is because the share price dropped after they bought in. And that is the mentality of a lot of investors and traders. If the share price drops, it must be a dog stock. It's not me that's wrong. It's the market, manipulation and all that jazz. Anyway, so that's NH3 Clean Energy. First time I've ever looked at that company. Coming number 4, we have Chalice Mining. Share price down 6% on a PFS. I've always remembered Chalice Mining. We'll have a look at the chart, the longer term chart right now. I always remember Chalice Mining as, if you go back, here it is, 2020. Share price just went bananas. A beautiful breakout for Chalice Mining back then. Look at massive volume. So the breakout really happened on the 23rd of March 2020, near the low of COVID-19. I'm pretty sure the low was that week. I don't remember which day. Anyway, they must have released something really good that day because share price went up 175%. And a lot of people will tell you, particularly a lot of experts will say, you're too late. You're too late. When the share price has risen 175%, you've missed all the rise. You've missed it. You're too late. You have to get in before. And you could have bought in that day near the high at 40 cents and then saw the share price go all the way up to $10. Yeah, what's that? It's a 25 bagger. So don't always give up when you see the share price of a company rise 175% in one day. It's because there's new news. There's new powerful news that drove the share price up that day. And a lot of the market is really slow to adjust. It takes them a while to digest or fully digest the news. And if a company keeps releasing really good information or news flows, you'll see the share price rally. You could rally a fair bit. Anyway, so that's what I remember with Chalice Mining. I did not trade it at that point in time. And then for me, it's just a trade if I was in it. And you can see what happened after that. Share price went to 10 cents or $10 and fell all the way back down to below $1 eventually. But it looks like, actually, no, we'll go no, I don't even mention the announcement. So Gonneville Project Pre-Feasibility Study Presentation. That's what I looked at. This is interesting for me because it's palladium. PD is palladium. Ni is nickel, Cu is copper. Hopefully you know those last two. Palladium, wasn't sure. I was like, oh, palladium. Anyway, so this particular project is mostly palladium. So the only company I can think of when it comes to palladium is Zimplats. Now I've got Chalice Mining. Developing a new globally significant critical minerals mine in West Australia. I do like PFSs because they give us an insight onto how much money there could be in. Now, the market of this company is 664. Where should I start? Which page should I read? This one. No, this one's okay. The largest and lowest cost undeveloped palladium nickel copper reserve in the Western world. Now, how many palladium nickel copper reserves are there in the Western world? Maybe there's not a lot. I'm not sure how related are palladium, nickel, and copper, or all palladium deposits have a lot of nickel and copper in. I have no idea. Anyway, set to generate $4.7 billion in free cash flow over initial 23 open pit life with a rapid payback of 2.7 years and significant upside. A little bit of cash on hand, 76 million, and funded to targeted FID in first half of calendar year 28. So still a few years off from FID is final decision, final investment decision, final FID. I did actually Google this. FID, final investment decision. Yeah. Final investment decision. What else was there? I wanted to look. Oh, this is actually a pretty good presentation, by the way. So you can actually look at the first 3 years of mining, free cash flow, total cash flow, the pre-tax NPV is only $1.4 to $2 billion. Now, this is all dependent on the price of the minerals. So unleveraged open pit phase metrics at base case prices, palladium at a certain price, nickel at a certain price, copper at a certain price. So if palladium and particularly palladium and copper go on really good runs, even nickel, then these metrics could be understating the potential of Chalice mining. Gonneville will have second quartile all-in sustaining costs and the lowest cost profile in the Western world in a shrinking, steepening cost curve. I was trying to understand this particular graph. I didn't really understand it. Notice they mentioned South Africa and Zimbabwe. There was actually another really good. Oh, they went through palladium. Why palladium? This is actually a good read. And they talk about supply and demand of palladium, which is very important. And they also mention here, prices are rebounding from cyclical lows, and recent history shows prices can rise rapidly with no supply response. And I have been showing you palladium charts in the technical update video. Here it is, palladium. That's all because of, is it Anderson, South Africa? And this palladium chart looks pretty good. If you have a look at the weekly chart for palladium, yeah, definitely a cyclical chart. So this looks like it's on the rise now, palladium. So that's why I'm a little bit more interested in palladium and palladium companies. And I do like this chart, by the way. Was there anything else here I liked in this? Oh, like, yeah, the 23 mine life of the company, financial thingies each and every year. Yeah, so it's nice. Oh, this was the other one, yeah. So this is mostly a palladium project, Gonneville. Palladium, 51% palladium, 22% copper, 17%, 22% nickel, 17% copper, a little bit of gold, platinum, and cobalt. But yeah, definitely palladium. Well, mostly palladium. So let's have a little chart, the daily chart for Chalice mining. Interesting reaction from the market today. If you go to the daily chart, share price did open up higher, and then we saw selling. And when I say open, up higher within the first minute or so, and then it collapsed. Sometimes you do see that. Share price opens higher, and then the share price collapses. So it seems like shareholders see the share price rally on open and go, oh, I could just dump. And they will dump. It shows me there are some people who want to get out. And even if the announcement is pretty good, they just dump on market when the share price rallies because they're fearful maybe the share price will go down. It has found a bottom during the day and is starting to rise again. That's the 1 minute chart. Daily chart. I've always thought of Chalice Mining as a gold company, a gold explorer. So I have changed my opinion now, just with this little announcement today. Coming in at number 3, we have Imugene. I have a feeling this company is quite big, bigger than what you might think. It's I'm pretty sure Imugene is or not exploration. It's clinical. Oh, it's only 108 market cap. I'm thinking might be thinking of another company. I'm pretty sure it's a clinical stage immuno-oncology company developing a range of new and novel immunotherapies that seek to, etc., activate the immune system of cancer patients. There we go. Anyway, so let's have a look at why Imugene is up 7.81%. They're also having a webinar, but FDA supports strategy toward registration for Azer-cel. Now, I'm pretty sure this is a story stock because they have no cash flow, no revenue or receipts. I'm just going to confirm that. I could be completely wrong. Yeah, no receipts or revenue, burning through a lot of cash, almost $14 million in 1 quarter in research and development, which seems a lot for a company with a market cap of $100 million. Looks like they did a couple of raising as well. Yeah, but with the cash burn, they'll have to raise more cash eventually. So let's have a quick look at this particular announcement from Imugene. Share price, or the market has been a little bit excited about this one. And it is positive, I suppose. FDA confirmed data from current phase 1B study supporting move towards a phase 3 registrational study. I do get a little bit excited about phase 3 results. The FDA confirmed support of a single randomized study using overall response rate with durability for accelerated approval and progression-free survival for full approval. There you go. Anyway, so a nice little reaction from the market when it comes to this announcement. I just want to see a little bit more from Imugene at this point in time. So let's have a look at the chart for Imugene. Oh, okay. Chart is ugly. So maybe that's why I thought the market was a little bit more, because the share price has dropped a lot over the last few years. And that's probably why I thought this company was bigger than $100 million market. We have seen a lot of volume coming in, particularly from July, which is a sign that the bottom has been reached. A lot of volume. So that could be a sign the bottom has been reached. But again, it's a story stock. A lot more to play out for this company that could be really successful, or they may not be. I don't know. I don't know the technology all that well. The chart is not the best looking chart, but definitely not as bad as it has been in the last 2 years. I think it has found a floor. Share price could move up and move into a nice uptrend if things move right for Imugene. Okay, coming in at number 2, we have Artrya. So when was it? It was... Here we go. Chris and Caroline says, Artrya could have just as much potential as 40 Medical after Pro Medicus buy and loan. Don't be ignorant to it just because it's currently a story stock. Pro Medicus was a story stock. True, that's true. But looks like Artrya is moving from that story stock into... I was going to try and think of a good analogy. Because a story stock, if you think of a story stock, they have a story. And I'm trying to think, what's the difference between a story stock and a non-story stock in terms of a novel? And I can't think of one right now. But Artrya have some... so a story stock has a story, but they're not selling any books. So they're not selling any books. They're trying to put it out there, but no one's buying the book on Amazon.com or Booktopia, if that still exists. But Artrya is starting to sell some books. People are paying attention. And this is another nice little... But by the way, Artrya, there's a lot of already potential priced into this company. Market cap of Artrya is about 500 million, I believe. 500, 600 million. So there's already a lot of promise priced in, which is probably my biggest... the biggest reason to be wary about Artrya is your market cap is $600 million. So there is already a lot of promise price into this company. But whenever I see an announcement like second US commercial customer, Northeast Georgia, I just go, hey, yeah, this is how Pro Medicus started. If you go back to 2009, 2010, when Pro Medicus market cap, by the way, was less than $100 million, so much smaller than Artrya, this is what they started doing, releasing these after they bought, they bought in early 2009. They started releasing announcements like this. Oh, we have a fairly small customer win. But again, Pro Medicus was much smaller than Artrya. Anyway, so second US commercial customer, Northeast Georgia. Not a lot, but that's sort of a minimum. They're talking about 300,000, I think it was. Yeah, 3-year commercial agreement with a minimum value of 300,000 for the Chalice coronary anatomy platform with additional fee per scan revenue. And I'm wondering how much that would be, which I am unclear about because I don't know this company well enough to think, well, this company might get might generate a lot of revenue just from this one little deal. Anyway, don't know. I'm not that well versed in this company to know that. And if you have a look at the chart for Artrya, AYA, the chart actually looks, if I remember correctly, not that bad. Yeah. In fact, since they listed, they listed a long time ago, it looks like. End of 2021. And you can actually see not a lot of interest in this company when they listed. Share price $1.70 went all the way down to like 20 cents. And then the share price started to move up back in September 2024, not that long ago. And the share price has gone up nearly tenfold since then. So the market cap of this company would have been maybe 50 million, a year and a half ago. Volume, look at the volume as well, massive volume coming through as well. So a lot of the market really likes this company. I don't know when I put this little line here, but I put a support line, resistance line at about $1. That would have been probably 8 months ago, and it definitely broke above that easily in August, early August, late July, and has continued to rally since then. Share price is almost at a record high, but again, valuation. But this is the sort of thing I'm looking for. This is the sort of thing I'm looking for, particularly if Artrya releases more announcements like this, so one after the other. If this is the only announcement they announce, and again, I don't know a lot about this company, but that's one thing I do look for is not just one announcement like this, but I want a few in a row. And finally, stock of the day is Bas Oil. By the way, I didn't even mention what Artrya does. So something to do with, what was it, coronary diseases or something. So let's have a look at their about. Medical technology company developing AI-powered solutions to improve the detection of management of coronary artery disease. Proprietary software analyzes coronary CT scans to devise key biomarkers of heart disease, supporting clinicians, is that the right pronunciation, in diagnosing patients more accurately and efficiently. There you go. So I don't think I even went through what Artrya does. Okay, on to stock of the day. Bas Oil. Share price up 108.82. Was up probably over, I don't think it got to 200%. 6.8. Oh, it did. So at its high today, share price was up 200%. The high of the day was 9.3 cents. So we have seen a little bit of selling coming in, but it's still up over 100%. Now, ideally, and remember, I've said don't be concerned if the share price of a company goes up 175% in one day. But a lot of times, those sort of days, the share price closes near the high of the day. That's actually a really good sign. Today, we have seen a little bit of selling. So that is a sign that there has been a little bit of a rush to the door for shouters to get out. So those shouters, even though some of them are profit taking, they have looked at this announcement and go, okay, might be a good announcement, but I think the run has come to an end. I'm going to get out. That could be wrong. Share price could go up tenfold from here, and they'll be kicking themselves if it does. Doesn't mean it will. Anyway, so Bass executes gas sales agreement with Origin. Name dropping. I'm pretty sure this is Origin Energy. Yeah. Anyway, executes binding sales agreement with Origin Energy for gas supply from the Vanessa field in the Cooper Basin, South Australia. 3-year agreement set up pricing, which underpins full commercialisation of the field. First gas expected in 2026 following final completion of the Vanessa acquisition and recommissioning of production facilities. And don't forget, if this is natural gas, natural gas prices are going through the roof right now. Doesn't mean they will remain going through the roof. That's it. That's the reason why the share price of Bas Oil has gone a little bit bananas today. And the volume has been spectacular. And the reason I say that, volume, 41.7 million shares traded today. If you have a look at trade history, some days very little shares have been traded. 34,000 on last Thursday, 113,000. And that is very important. The massive amount of volume traded today. The market has become aware of this company. Now, whether the awareness remains over the next few months remains to be seen, but definitely this one is on my radar because of what's happened today with the share price. Now, the one thing I'd like to see is not as much selling, but look at the chart. The chart is actually really good. What we have seen recently, share price found a bit of a floor, then going sideways, and all of a sudden share price pops up. This is exactly what I'm looking for. Bas Oil doesn't mean I will take a trading position, but this is what I look for. Question becomes, where would be the low for the day? Okay, now on to a few of your comments for chart of the day. And the first one is Trader Hooper. I quite like the Corvus chart. It was trading sideways in quite a tight range for nearly 3 months and has broken high over the last couple of weeks. Can't remember if you mentioned it recently, just caught my eye this weekend. Now, I will be honest, I do own Corvus, and this is my super, and this is more of a longer term hold. I do acknowledge that Corvus has been on the ASX for a long time, and they haven't really succeeded. when I say a long time, I'm talking about almost 60 years and haven't really succeeded, but things are going really well for Corvest, Galvanizer, and something else. I think mostly Galvanizer. If you have a look at the weekly chart, share price has been a really good uptrend since late 2018, and times were not good for Corvest between at least 2012 and 2018. Things were not looking good, but things have turned around. In fact, the share price has gone up 7-fold since then. I bought right on $10. This would have been over a year ago, and I just said, look, I'm not going to even look at the chart. I'm just going to buy some shares at $10 and just see what happens. Share price didn't do anything for a while. And when I say while, I mean I put this purple box in. I was waiting for the share price to get above that purple box. Finally got above that purple box 1 year after I bought, and then went on a really good run. Now, this big drop in August, 14th of August, is when they went ex-dividend. If you don't believe me, let's have a look. Ex-dividend for Corvest, 14th of August, was it? Ex-dividend, final, 14th of August. Dividend amount, 50 cents. Share price dropped a lot because the dividend yield for this company is quite nice. So share price dropped 9% on that day, but it's just a dividend. That's why. In fact, if you do adjust for dividends, it should take that away. It doesn't. Oh, it does. It does. A little bit. But you can just see the share price dropped by more than the dividend because there would have been a lot of dividend chasers. Just get out, even though overall they're going to be down. Their capital will actually be, their capital will drop more than the dividend they get because there are a lot of dividend chasers out there. So not surprising, share price then went sideways for a while because all those dividend chasers don't really care. And now they're going, ooh, dividend yield of this company is quite nice. We're talking about a dividend yield of 4.6. That's wrong. 50 cents, 75 cents. Oh, it is. I thought the dividend yield was much higher. Now, based off my capital, 10 cents, I've got a dividend yield of 7.5% on my initial capital. But yeah, the share price has actually gone up a fair bit. Yeah, it's gone up a fair bit. So yeah, share price is starting to rally now, and it's back up to where it was before the share price dropped. Anyway, so it's a nice looking chart. For Corvus, I don't really look at this chart all that often because, again, it's in my super and it's more of a long-term hold. And I don't really care about charts for the long-term hold. The only way I'm going to sell Corvus is if something structurally bad happens to the company itself. And the other two companies I want to show you in chart of the day is from Nine Slide Glide, who was a little bit upset that I didn't mention two microcaps, EDU and M70. So EDU, is it education or EDU group or EDU holdings? And Mac 7. Now, I did talk about EDU. Was it last week? In fact, I can tell you right now. And I have to fully disclose, I did take a trading position in EDU holdings. I did take a trading position in this company because of their announcement they released on the 1st of December. So last Monday. So this was for me, and the chart. The other reason I took a position in EDU is not only because of that, it was also because of the chart. And you'll see why in a second. Okay, so the share price broke out above the previous high. It's tested at the last 2 days. So it's a nice little test, and you have seen the share price go up. So it remains a breakout EDU. It remains a breakout. We've just seen it testing it, and with the share price rising today, it's broken out. But a really nice chart for ED holdings and pretty nice announcement as well. Max 7, on the other hand, is one that I'm just like staying a little bit away from. They have not released anything. They did get a price query. So they did release something on the 3rd, but the share price really got going on the 24th, and they did receive a price query. And for me, this is a no-go. Personally, this is a no-go for me, based off the chart. And the main reason, the share price has rallied a lot on no significant news flow. So they received the price query on the 24th when there was a spike in volume. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the share price pull back. And you can see the share price of this company goes all over the place. So for me, I just want something a little bit more substantial from Max 7 before I get excited. But if you're just trading this just based off the chart and you saw the share price pull back to say 40 cents, 42 cents, that might be a nice little trade. Okay, that is all I have for today's video. If you have any questions, any thoughts, leave those in the comment section of the video. Otherwise, I'm not a financial advisor. If you need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for the video. Have a good day. Bye.